So in the overnight session, we saw a push down towards the 69 quarter high volume node, and buyers stepped in a point or so ahead of that level. And since then, the buy side has been more active and dominant in the overnight session. Heading into the open, our short-term bias is going to be neutral, and that means that we have to be open to the market moving in either direction. ES and the other markets are at a short-term inflection point where if we can get a breakout above the pre-market resistance zone, and if we can get breakouts in the Nasdaq and the Russell as well, then there would be potential for the markets to expand the range to the upside. So off the open, if we get a successful breakout above the pre-market resistance zone, then we can quite easily test the 2901 to 0575 initial resistance. And if the market is showing signs of a successful breakout, which means that it's breaking out on broad market strength, sustained upside momentum with participation in the other markets as well, then ES may not stop at 2901 to 0575. So it is a spot where sellers can still be active, but if the intraday situation is overly bullish, then the market does not have to stop there, and we could head higher into 12.5 to 16.5 and potentially even back up towards 29.25, as well as the 28.5 high volume node and the 31 quarter to 35 quarter resistance, where there's a high probability of sellers being active. We have an open gap there. It marks the high from August 5th, and it also marks the 61.8% retracement of the large move from the all-time high. So there's a pretty decent confluence of resistance at 31 quarter to 35 quarter, and the expectation is for sellers to be active there in the event that we get a move back up into that zone. So off the open, the main question is going to be whether we're seeing signs of a successful breakout. So that is the market context heading into the open. Again, we are at this important inflection point where either the markets can break out and expand the range to the upside, or we can see a failure or a false breakout attempt, which can then resume the recent bearishness.